some work on the roller today, and I'm going to show you some options if you don't have a roller or if you're not quite up for the roller itself. When we're doing the stretches on the roller later in the class, you can get some really nice effect by making yourself a little sock with 2 tennis balls in it that will also serve for a lot of the stretching, or just a tennis ball, although that can be a bit intense. I also have this small version of my the ball that I squeeze between my knees, but it's a squishy one. So these are all things that you could use for the stretches if you don't have a roller. And if you don't have a roller for this initial part, of course you could just lie on the floor. You could roll up a towel and longwise along your spine. Also, if you have a bolster, you can use a bolster, although they're a little bit short usually, so you need something behind your head. So I am going to start on the roller. You're welcome to do that for some chest opening and for some stabilization. I'd like you to, if you're going to use the roller, begin by having a folded blanket underneath your feet. And I'll explain why as we come down into constructive rest pose. So when you're on the roller, of course you want to have both your tailbone and the back of your head on the roller. And if you usually use something underneath your head, you can also support your head while you're on the roller. The reason I'm suggesting something under the feet, at least to begin, is because when the feet are down on the floor, they're lower than they normally are, and it gives you a little bit of back extension. You'll see that as we move through the warm-up. So if you have a spondylo or a stenosis, you definitely want to do this so you're not into hyperextension in the lower back. And for the rest, just letting the body settle in a neutral spine before putting it into that extra lumbar extension will be nice. So whether you're on the roller or on a bolster or towel or even just on the floor, take a moment to settle. If you're on the roller, you're going to make sure that your shoulder blades curl around the roller and you're opening that space between the shoulder blades. Shoulders are relaxed. In either case, on the roller or on the floor, you'll turn the palms up and open the chest. And take a moment to settle, feeling the feet, the tailbone, the upper back, all touching the surface. Relaxing the arms, feeling the back of the head sinking down into the support of the floor or the roller. Relax the breath. And then continuing to rest in constructive rest pose, we'll bring our attention to the inner core muscles, finding that deep inner support of the pelvic floor and the transversus abdominis. Drawing the attention down to the pelvic diamond, the shape that is formed when you connect the tailbone, the 2 sit bones, and the pubic bone. Inhale, picturing that diamond, the sling of the pelvic floor. And then with the exhale, shrink it into its center. And then with the inhale, relax. Again, soften into all the points where you're touching the support. And inhale, picture the belt of the transversus going all the way around the low torso. And with the exhale, gently gather it around from the back to the front. Buckle it beneath the belly button. And then release that and relax again. Bring your attention back down to the pelvic diamond. And as you exhale, shrink it in towards its center. And inhale, release and relax. Picture the belt of the transversus. And And exhale, gently gather it around. Remember, we don't want involvement of the ribs here. And relax with the inhale. Back down to the pelvic floor. Exhale, shrink it in. And gather the belt around and feel the whole inner core engaged. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. Maintain the inner core while you inhale. And renew it while you exhale. We'll bring the arms towards the sides with the palms facing each other. Maintaining a neutral lower back curve throughout, we inhale, arms float up to the ceiling. And exhale, engage the inner core as you take the arms back towards the wall behind you, keeping your lower back in neutral. Inhale, arms float up. And we're going to add a wide opening of the arms. Exhale, arms out to T. And float the arms back up towards the ceiling on your inhale. And then exhale, settle them down at your sides again. Palms are still facing. Again, with the inhale, take the arms up to vertical. And with the exhale, stabilize with the inner core as you take your arms back towards the wall behind you. And float the arms to the ceiling. And with the exhale, arms open wide like a T. And inhale, float them up to the ceiling. Exhale, lower the arms down. We're going to add the obliques. Inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, stabilize the neutral spine, lift the inner core, reach the arms back. Now stay. Inhale, feel the flaring of the ribs. And as you exhale, imprint the back ribs and knit the front ribs together. You're going to feel a little bit more stretch around the armpit, and your ribs should come back down to the roller or the mat. Inhale, bring the arms up wide. Keep that oblique work going as you exhale out to the T. Keep imprinting, and now you're going to emphasize the knitting of the front ribs. Now stay here and open the ribs. Let the ribs flare. And exhale, imprint the back ribs and knit the front ribs, keeping the arms down. And again, with the inhale, let the ribs flare. And exhale, imprint the back and knit the front. Once again, inhale, let the ribs flare. And exhale, imprint the back, knit the front, and maintain that engagement as you inhale, arms float up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, lower down. So if it's important to keep your back out of hyperextension, if you have a spondylolisthesis or a stenosis, you can keep the blanket under your feet, please. Otherwise, if you want a little more challenge, we're going to bring the feet down to the floor. And you can feel when you bring the feet down, the space behind the lower back increases a bit. This, of course, is not an issue if you're not on the roller. So if you're on the roller and you have that little extra back curve, as we engage the inner core initially, I also want you to imprint the ribs and find your neutral spine. So just the neutral amount of space, not that extended space. And then we're going to do a sequence with the arms. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, reach them back. Keep your ribs knitting and imprinting. Keep the inner core engaged. Stay there while you inhale. With your exhale, you're going to sweep the arms wide and do a little head lift. And inhale, put the head down, bring the arms up to vertical. Keep your neutral spine, exhale and reach back. Maintain the knitting and imprinting of the ribs as you stay back there and inhale. And then with the exhale, we'll bring the arms around and do a head lift. Once again, inhale, head down, arms up, maintain your neutral. Reach back with your exhale. Don't let the lower back hyperextend. Keep the back ribs imprinting. Stay there for your inhale. And then exhale, sweep the arms around and lift the head. And then lower the arms and the head and let everything relax for a moment. And now we'll go into alternate leg lifts. So if you're on the roller, you can keep the hands on the floor for stability. For a little more challenge, you can float them up off of the mat. Start with the first round with the hands on the floor. Gather in your inner core. Feeling your ribs knit, and follow that knitting of the ribs all the way around so it wraps to the opposite back pocket. Imprint the back ribs so you're very steady, and then float the right foot up off of the mat and lower it down. Keep the pelvis steady. Re-engage the inner core, the knitting and the imprinting, and lift the left foot up and then lower back down. So if that's enough challenge for you, keep the hands on the floor. If you want a little more challenge and you're on the roller, you can float the hands up at your sides, stabilize and lift and lower. If you're in constructive rest without the roller, just be mindful that your shoulders are staying relaxed. You can take them up to vertical, arms up to vertical if you like. Let's do one more like that. And then we're going to raise the right leg and keep it up. The shoulders relaxed. Circle that ankle around. And then reverse. And then flex the foot back. Reach out through the ball of the foot and point the toes. Pull the toes back and flex the whole foot back. Reach out through the ball of the foot and point. Pull the toes back and then flex the whole foot back. One more time. Reach out with the ball of the foot, point the toes, pull the toes back, flex your whole foot back, keep it flexed back and squeeze the toes and fan them. And squeeze and fan and squeeze and fan. Relax your foot, re-engage your core and lower the right foot down. Settle, re-support and lift the left side up. And we'll circle the left ankle. And reverse. Then flex the foot back, reach out through the ball of the foot, then point the toes, pull the toes back, and flex back at the ankle. Reach through the ball of the foot, and point, pull the toes back, and then pull back at the ankle. Reach through the ball of the foot, and point, pull the toes back, flex your foot back, and then squeeze the toes. Keep your ankle flexed back, and open the toes. Squeeze. Fan and squeeze and fan, and then relax your foot, re-support and lower the foot back down. Let everything relax. Now we're going to go into some pistons. You will definitely want your hands on the floor. See if you can keep them relaxed with the palms up. If you need more support, you can bring your hands in a bit closer and turn your palms down. So I first want to establish the neutral spine, whether you're on the roller or on the mat. Be sure you're not in any extra extension. If you want to work with a flat back, if that's better for your lower spine, feel free to do that. Make sure that the ribs are knitting and imprinting. We're going to bring the right foot up and keep it up, and then bring the left foot up. Notice your lower back. Don't let it go into hyperextension. And we're going to pistons. Exhale, the right leg reaches down. And lift it back up, and exhale, the left foot goes down, and bring it back up. No strain in the lower back. You're really working to keep that inner core engaged, the ribs imprinted in the back, so the back stays neutral. Exhale to lower, and inhale to lift, and exhale to lower, and inhale to lift. Let's do it once more. And then we bring the right foot down and keep it down. And the left foot down and keep it down. And then relax completely. Okay, let's come slowly off of the roller. We're going to get a small ball or your folded blanket. Not the very smallest ball, the kickball sized ball. And we're going to use it between the knees, please. So upper body relaxed. We'll find the inner core. Knit and imprint the ribs. And keeping a neutral spine, squeeze into the ball. Maintain the squeeze and press into your feet to raise your hips up. And then lower back down, keeping your neutral spine. Once your tailbone's down, then relax the core work and relax the squeeze. Re-engage your inner core. Knit and imprint. This time we're going to tilt the pelvis so your lower back goes flat and you squeeze the ball. And keep squeezing the ball and roll your way up into a pelvic lift. And keep scooping the belly in and roll your way back down out of the pelvic lift. Release the tailbone to the floor. Relax. And re-engage inner core, knit and imprint. Keep your neutral spine, squeeze the ball so do not flatten the back, and raise your hips up, hinging at the hips to lift the pelvis. And come back down, hinging at the hips, no rolling this time. And then release and relax. You're in your neutral. Soften the squeeze on the ball. Let's do the roll up again. Inhale to prepare for your inner core. Exhale the inner core, knit and imprint. Tilt the pelvis, squeeze the ball, and keep the ball squeezed as you raise the hips up. And roll back down. Keep squeezing the ball, keep tilting the pelvis. And then you release the tailbone down and then relax the squeeze. Once again, inner core, knit and imprint. Stay neutral as you squeeze the ball and lift the hips. And hinge back down. Now we're going to save our next rolling pelvic lift. I'm going to pause here and do the 100. We'll use the ball, engaging the inner core, keeping your neutral spine, knit and imprint. Lift your feet up off of the floor. We'll bring the arms down to the sides. We're still in the neutral. Gently press the back of the palms down into the mat and lift your head. And then if you like, you can extend the legs out. And then exhale for 5 pulses. And inhale for 5 pulses. Gentle squeeze on that ball throughout. Chin is to the chest. Inhale for 5. Exhale for 5. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale one more time. Exhale. And inhale. And then bend the knees. Continue to stabilize with your core. Lower your head and lower your feet. Keep your back ribs imprinting as you lower your feet down. And relax in neutral. And then we're going to do another rolling pelvic lift. Engage the inner core, knit and imprint, tilt the pelvis, squeeze on the ball and raise the hips up. Keep squeezing on the ball. Be very aware of how you're rolling one vertebra at a time. We're preparing for the roll-ups here. As we come down, keep squeezing on the ball. Keep scooping the belly. Now keep your lower back flat. Lift your head. Reach up and take the ball. Keep your lower back flat as you lower your head down, holding the ball in the air above the breastbone. Then relax to neutral. Let your shoulders soften. And we reset the inner core, knitting and imprinting. Without pressing off your feet, tilt your pelvis to flatten the back. We'll slide the right heel away, straightening the right leg. And slide the left heel away. Keep that back flat, slide the right leg back in. And then the left leg back in. And relax into neutral, soften the shoulders. And reset inner core, knit and imprint, tilt the pelvis. Lower back is flat, and the left leg will slide away, and then the right. And then maintain your flattened back as you take the ball back towards the wall behind you. You're scooping the belly in. And we're going to roll up as we inhale, drawing the belly into the spine, coming up one vertebra at a time, lifting and opening, and then scooping the belly, relaxing the shoulders, bend forward. Relax into that stretch. You want to emphasize the stretch at the back of the legs and in the lower back. Keep your chest open and your neck relaxed. Elbows should be bent. Please don't reach forward. Now, if when you tried to roll up, your feet came off the floor, or you needed to push yourself up with your hands, And instead of rolling all the way back down, you'll just come part way back down. You're going to scoop the belly in, relax the shoulders, and roll back. You want to keep the feet on the floor and the shoulders relaxed. So we're going to go part way back and maintain. If you got up before without lifting your feet or assisting, then you can go the rest of the way down. Otherwise, please stay and hover. That's the way to build strength at that intermediate position of trying to get up past the middle of that roll up. You can stretch out long. If you're going all the way down, reset the core. And when you're ready, use your inhale to roll up one vertebra at a time. If you're hovering, then let yourself release forward into that forward bend. Relax the neck and shoulders. And same thing again. You may pause partway back and hover. If you pause and hover, relax the shoulders, scoop the belly and keep breathing. Or you can roll all the way down and reach back. Flatten the spine if you're in that all the way reached back position. And when you're ready, roll up on your inhale. And if you're hovering, you can move forward into that stretch as well. And now everybody rolling down, scooping the belly and taking it through the length of the whole spine. Everybody reach back long. You can relax into that stretch. If you have the ball, let it go. Let's walk the feet a little bit to the left and take the right ankle over the left. And walk the upper body to the left. Grab a hold of your right wrist and reach your right hips and your right ribs down to the mat, stretching the whole right side of the body. And then come up into the center and walk the feet a little bit to the right. Take your left heel over your right ankle. Upper body tilts to the right. Grab a hold of your left wrist and stretch your left side. Make sure that your left hip, your left shoulder, left back ribs are reaching down to the mat as you stretch your left side. And then we come back to the center, relax. And float the arms up. I'm going to bring the knees into the chest and hug the knees in, letting the lower back go flat. Check the back of your neck. If your chin is jutting to the ceiling, lengthen the back of the neck. Relax the shoulders. Use some support under your head if that helps. And keep the right knee into the chest and extend the left leg out onto the floor, bringing the right knee towards the breastbone. And then root the tailbone down and take the right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Drop the shoulders, and then bend that knee. Support the back of the leg. We'll just stretch the hamstring out for a moment. Stretch up to the back of the leg, stretch. Pull in with your hands, drop your shoulders, but also reach the tailbone down to the floor and then bend the knee. Keep your neutral spine, please. And once again, stretch up. And this time we're going to stabilize with the leg straight, engage the inner core. Wrap that belt, ribs, knee imprinting. Let's do an infinity sign. So we're going to draw a figure 8, but it's going side to side, 5 in each direction. Keeping the pelvis steady as the leg travels around that looped course. We'll trace that side lying figure 8, 5 times one way and then 5 times the other. 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 5 ti The whole time, the pelvis is still, the shoulders are relaxed. And when you're done, you bend the right knee. Place your left hand on the knee. We're going to go to a twist. You don't have to bring your your right knee all the way down to the floor. Just over as far as it's comfortable. And your right arm can be anywhere that your shoulder feels happy. And let's bring both knees into the chest, hug them in, lengthening the lower back, lengthening the back of the neck. Relax the shoulders. And then straighten the right leg out onto the floor and bring the left knee to the breastbone. And then release that stretch until you feel your neutral spine, your tailbone planted down. The hands are going to come behind the back of the left thigh. Interlace the fingers, engage around your neutral spine, and stretch the left leg up towards the ceiling. Pull with your hands, drop the shoulders, and then bend the knee. Keep your tailbone down. If you feel your back going flat, you're stretching your lower back and not the hamstring, or you're adding a lower back stretch. I want you to keep your neutral and just isolate that hamstring stretch. And bend. Do it one more time. Stabilize in your neutral spine. You can feel your tailbone down, you're there. And stretch up. And then re-engage with your core. Make sure you got your ribs engaged also. And 5 times sideways figure 8. Looping the leg around. Tracing the same path over and over, nice and small, and keep the pelvis steady. After 5 times one way, go 5 the other. And then we'll bend that left knee. Right hand onto the left knee and move into a twist. And again, you might just pull a little bit across. If that gives you enough stretch for your hip, that's fine. Or you can release all the way towards the floor. Be sure you adjust the left arm so that the shoulder is comfortable. And then bring the knees into the chest. Give them a hug. Lengthen the lower back. Lengthen the back of the neck and relax the shoulders. And let's come to the neutral for a moment. Feet on the floor in line with the sit bones. Arms wide, palms up, shoulder blades spread. Neutral spine relaxing into gravity's pull. Okay, we're going to turn onto the left side. Warming up the core a little bit more before we work with the roller more. We're going to stretch all the way out long. Bringing the feet a little forward of the hips and tilting the right hip slightly forward. Arrange your neck and shoulders so they're comfortable. That may mean a pillow between your neck and your arm and your ear. Right hand on the right waist. Take an inhale and prepare for your inner core. Exhale, gather the inner core and then do your organ lift. Feel that lift and notice the firmness under your right fingertips. Now you may leave your hand on your hip, or if you want some support, fingertips go down to the floor. We're going to squeeze both legs together and lift the legs up. Keep those feet a little forward of the hips and lift and lower the top leg 5 times. And slow the pace down a little bit so it's very exact. Squeeze the inner thighs together, re-engage the core, and then bottom leg down and up 5 times. And control the whole movement. If you feel strain in the neck, fingertips down to the floor. Squeeze the inner thighs, reset. Slowly 5 times, scissor the legs. Forward and back 5 times. And return to the center. Squeeze the inner thighs. Top leg is going to circle 5 times in one direction. And then 5 times in the reverse. Squeeze the inner thighs. Feel your belt. Externally rotate the legs and big scissors side to side in external rotation. Top leg up. You can come up pretty high. Bottom foot tapping the floor. Stay in external rotation. Pulse your heels. 2 sets of 5. Bring the legs to parallel and flex your feet back and squeeze the toes. Point the feet and fan the toes. Flex back, squeeze, point, fan and flex, squeeze, point, fan and flex. Toes are open as you reach away and then squeeze them as you pull back. Open the toes and reach, squeeze and pull back. Once more, open, reach, squeeze, pull back. Lower the legs down and relax a moment. I'm going to keep the thighs where they are and bend the knees so the feet are behind you. Coming into 0 degrees of hip flexion, so straight across the front of the hips, or as close to that as you can manage. Engage your inner core, and we'll rotate the right leg out in the socket 10 times. Making sure the right hip stays forward. Neck and shoulders relaxed. You're done with those. I'm going to bend the knees, or coming into the 45-degree hip flexion. Relaxed hook lying position. Soften here. Neck and shoulders easy. Core relaxed. Check right hip is a little forward of the left. Find your inner core. And then roll the leg out in the socket 10 times here. Keep the right hip forward. Relax. And then all the way up into 90-degree hip flexion. Knees and feet at the front of the mat. Try not to be curled into a little ball though. You still want your neutral spine and the right hip a little forward. Engage the inner core and 10 times external rotation here. When you're done, we're going to come onto the back for a moment and rest in constructive rest pose. Letting go of any residual tension. And then we'll turn onto the right side and stretch out long, feet slightly forward of the hips. Everybody begin with the left hand on the left waist as you relax into the position. Engage your inner core. And then take an organ lift, feeling the waist firm up. Fingertips on the mat if you like. And lift both legs up. Take your time, 5 times up and down with the top leg. Pause in the center, 5 times down and up with the bottom leg. And pause in the center, reset, forward and back, 5 times. And to the center, pause and then circle top leg 5 times in each direction. And reverse. I'm going to come to the center, re-engage, externally rotate both legs. You're turning out in both hip sockets and big wide scissors. Top leg can go up quite high. When you're in external rotation, you've got a lot more range of motion. Which has to do with the way the ball is in the socket. After the 5 big scissors, 10 little pulses. And then come to parallel and flex the feet back. Squeeze the toes, point the feet, fan the toes and flex back. Squeeze, point, fan, flex, squeeze, point, fan, flex. Keep those toes open and reach out. And squeeze as if you're grabbing something and pull back. Open, reach, squeeze and grab. One more time. Open, reach, squeeze, retract. And lower the legs down. Relax a moment. Now we're going to come to the first clamshell position, keeping your thighs where they are, bend at the knees so your feet are behind you. Set your core, and we'll rotate out in the socket 10 times. Be mindful of the left hip, don't let it go back. When you're done with those 10, come into the middle position and relax a moment there. Check in that the left hip is a little forward of the right. Reset your core and roll the leg out in the socket 5 times. I should have said reset your inner core. You can leave the obliques relaxed, please, and just use your pelvic floor and transverses. When you're done with those 10, relax completely. And then move into your 90-degree hip flexion. Again, checking that the left hip is a little forward of the right. Engage the inner core and roll out in the socket 10 more times. Neck and shoulders easy. And then we're going to come to the back again. Relax in constructive rest pose. We're going to do a little rolling here. If you don't have a roller, you can do the piriformis stretch, the ankle to knee, and hugging to stretch out the muscles of the buttocks. This is another place also where in place of the roller you can use a small ball. This is really nice to roll out the butt, or this little 2 tennis balls in a sock really works well there too. So any of those little props will be good. If you have a roller, I'm going to come on it and then tilt up onto the right buttock and just roll it out, massaging, go all the way up to the pelvic crest. And of course you can find a spot if you find a good spot and just kind of hang out in it. I'll just do it 30 seconds on each side. If you want to make it a bit more intense, you can lift your feet up. And then we'll sit up and go to the other side. So if you were on your back doing the figure 4, switch sides and tilt and roll out the other side. And again, you can find a spot and hang out in it. And or you can lift the feet. And then we'll sit up in the center. We'll roll the TFL and the ITV a little bit too. It's a bit tough to do this without the roller. If you're on your back, you can just bring your knee towards, you can lie with one leg straight out and pull one knee up towards the opposite shoulder. It gets you into that ballpark, although it's not nearly as intense. This is a really nice place to use the little 2 tennis ball thing also. So if you have the roller, you're going to go sideways on it. You want to be just below the greater trochanter, the top of the thigh bone where it sticks out. The bottom leg is straight and top leg in front. And then you're going to move, and this can be quite intense. Move slowly down from that top of the thigh bone towards the knee. You don't want to go onto the joint. And again, you can do a big sweeping roll, or you can just find a spot and hang out in it. This one really deserves more than 30 seconds, but for now, since I'm not sure if you all have the roller, I won't stay here too long. And the reason that may feel more intense than the buttock stretch, let's switch to the other side, is because here we're really on the connective tissue, the fascia, not just muscles. So switch to the other side, find the place where the thigh bone bulges out, the greater trochanter, and then roll along outside of the thigh. And if you have a tennis ball, you probably want to just get the ball and put it in one spot and breathe there for a while, and then move it to another spot. Okay. We're going to now switch or transition into the abdominal series. This is another thing you can use the roller for strength. Of course, this is optional. If you want to just do the abdominal series on the mat, that's great too. We're going to use the roller. Remember to sit at the end of it and lie down. So both the tailbone and the back of the head are supported by the roller. And again, it's okay to bring a blanket underneath your head if your neck feels vulnerable here. So whether we're on the mat or on the roller, let's start by establishing the inner core around the neutral spine. which means on the roller, you're going to let your lumbar decrease a little bit, lumbar curve decrease a little bit. We're knitting and imprinting. If you're on the roller, you're going to keep your hands on the mat the whole time. We'll lift the left foot up, and then the right. And lift the head. If you're not on the roller, you can bring both hands to one knee, and then we'll straighten one leg and switch. So if you're just flat on the mat, you're going to use both hands coming to the bent knee. Tracking the leg in. As you bend the knee, think of hiding the foot behind the bent leg. And we'll take a little break. Rest the head down. Knees can come into the chest or rest on the floor. If you need to turn your head from side to side, go ahead and do that. Or flatten the back. And then reset the neutral on a neutral lumbar curve. Support with your obliques and lift your head. Double leg stretch if you're on the mat, one hand on each knee. And exhale, we're going to push the legs away at 45 degrees. If you're on the mat, reach your arms out behind you, and then inhale, come back in. Being really mindful that both the lower back and the ribs stay in their neutral position. And keep the back ribs imprinted. Exhale, push the legs away. 45-degree angle. Exhale, push. If the neck gets tired, put the head down. Exhale and push. Inhale back in one more time. And bend the knees, put the head down, relax. And then reset your neutral spine. Find your inner core support, your ribs knitting and imprinting. And lift the head, chin to the chest. Single straight leg. One leg goes up, one leg goes out. And then we switch. If you're on the mat, you can gently pull the back of the up leg. If you're on the mat, also you have the option of supporting your head with your hands. And let's go to rest for a moment before we move into the double straight leg. And once again, find your neutral, reset the inner core, knit and imprint. If you're on the mat, you're going to use your hands to support the back of your head. Lift the head up, extend the legs up, maintain your neutral, and lower them down with the neutral spine. Bring it back up. Be in control the whole time. Small range of motion. Neutral spine. Keep those back ribs imprinted. And then bend the knees and lower the head. If you're on the roller, we come slowly off to the side of the roller. And everybody settle to neutral for a moment. Hands behind the head. Open the elbows out nice and wide, and they're going to stay wide as we go through the crisscross. Notice how opening those elbows out is flaring your ribs. So set your inner core and then imprint and knit and get your neutral spine all the way up the spine. Take one foot up and then the other. You're still in your neutral spine, imprinted. We'll bicycle the legs and take this big twist, keeping the elbows wide as you do your bicycle. So make sure you really turn the breastbone and reach the armpit up and over towards the opposite knee. And bring your knees in. Hug your knees. Let your back flatten and slowly turn your head from side to side. And come back into neutral for a moment. I'm going to turn on to the stomach. So if you tend to get a cramp in your foot when you straighten your legs out behind you on your stomach, another nice thing used for the roller is to hook your ankles over the roller, and that will relax the front of the feet. I'm going to place the hands underneath the forehead. Legs comfortably wide, so if you like, you can have that roller underneath your ankles. Let the whole front of the body release. And then we find the inner core, glide the ribs, we'll keep the elbows down, raise the chest and the head, draw the shoulder blades down the back and open the breastbone forward without jutting the chin forward. And then lower down and relax. Again, set the inner core, hit the ribs and gently press the forearms down, raise the breastbone forward. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, and then release. One more time. Inner core, glide the ribs, press the elbows, raise the breastbone, lifting the sternum forward away from the navel. Gently press your elbows down, opening the front of the body, shoulders down the back, and then release. Now hands to your sides, legs close together. Engage the core and lift everything up. Try to keep the feet together, lift the arms high and squeeze the shoulder blades. Really lift your thighs up and lower back down. Again, inner core, glide the ribs, lift everything up. Squeeze the inner thighs together, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and lower down. Relax completely. One last time, inner core, glide the ribs and lift. And release back down. We'll move to a child's pose. Okay, here's another thing we can do with the roller. And if you don't have the roller, you can just do it without the roller. We're going to come into a Sphinx position with the roller underneath the ankles. And then interlace the fingers. So you have your elbows underneath your shoulders. And we're going to do a plank here. So of course you can do this without the roller. Now find your inner core, scoop your belly in, press into the forearms, knit your ribs and lift up. And if you're on the roller, you can roll yourself forward and back. Be sure you don't collapse into the lower back. And then we'll bring the knees down. You can bring your hips back to your heels. Just stretch the back out for a moment. And then we're going to come up onto all fours. So we're going to do a knee hover. You can do this without the roller as well. And if you have the roller, we can do an approximation of the knee stretch, one of the reformer exercises. Either way, you're going to have your hands underneath your shoulders to begin. Engage your inner core. Check that your lower back's not overextended, not overly arched or collapsed. Glide your ribs together, engaging the inner core, then press down into your hands, hover your knees up. Whether you have the roller or not, you can knee hover. If you have the roller, you can push your legs away and then pull back in. Good, keep pushing the floor away and keep the hands in the same place the whole time. If you're knee hovering, you can go up and down. And then let's take a little break. Bring the hips back to the heels. And then you can just do the same thing again, or if you're on the roller, you can add a pike position, or if you don't have the roller, you can add a downward facing dog. So we're going to engage the inner core, knit the ribs, press into the hands and lift the hips. And we'll push the roller away, and then as you pull it in, you raise your hips and you flatten out to plank. And if you don't have the roller, you can transition between plank and a downward facing dog. And when you're ready, I'll take a break and get rid of the roller now. Okay, and then we're going to finish with the chest opener. We've done this in the last couple of weeks, so you can do it on the roller. You can do it on your small ball. This size ball can go between the shoulder blades, like so. You can also use this little contraption with the two tennis balls rolling along your spine. It feels great. Or of course you can just use a folded blanket and rest back, or a bolster. So if you have the roller, I'm going to kind of bring it to the base of the shoulder blades. Bring the hands behind the head. Engage the inner core. Knit the ribs together. Lift the hips. Stay really supported around the core. And then you can roll along the length of the spine. Down to the bottom of the ribs, not to the lower back please, just to the bottom of the ribs. And up along the rib cage, as close to your neck as you like. And if you want to do a little more chest opening, keep supporting in the core and open back over the roller. Feel free to keep massaging if you like that, or open back over the roller. And then to come out of that big chest opening, you're going to re-engage your inner core, knit your ribs, lift your head up. Good. At a certain point, you're not going to be able to go any farther. So stay connected in the core, and you can use your hands to bring yourself up. And then we're going to take the knees wide with the soles of the feet touching and bend down into a gentle forward bend like this. And then sit up. Let the knees come towards each other and relax your forehead down towards your knees. Be careful you're not slumping or overarching the upper back, just easy forward. Relax the neck and shoulders. And then sit up, across the ankles, engage the core, and come up to standing. Feet parallel to each other, lifted through the crown of the head, engage the pelvic floor, the belt, wrap the ribs, lift and open the chest, relax the shoulders, and roll the arms out in the sockets, feeling that chest opening again, and relax, and again, roll the arms out, breastbone lifted and open, chin stays down, and relax. One more time. And relax. So we're done. If you feel a little tight in your back from all that roller stuff, bonus stretch if you need one more little thing to finish with. We'll just lift the breastbone on all fours and bring the hips back And you can do that a couple times if your lower back feels tight. This is a great pose to do really any time. It stretches the lower back and gently opens the chest. So make sure that your back feels okay, and then we're done. Thank you. You have fun with your roller. I definitely recommend, if you don't have a roller, get yourself 2 tennis balls and a sock. This is a really nice little tool, and you can do a lot of those releases that we did on that. Okay, we will not have any Pilates next week. No Wednesday class or Saturday class. So I will see you on, I guess, December 1st for a half hour on the Wednesday afternoon. Okay, take care, happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy your roller.